Welcome viewers, Dr. J.W. Ayub. The law that changed women's rights. The amendment that changed the boundary. Viewers, every major institutional change begins with a decision, and that might be micro-incremental. Within this documentary narrative of mine, one decision stands above many others. The expansion of legal recognition within Australia's Sex Discrimination Act. The episode here examines the argument that once new protected characteristics were incorporated into legislation, the institutions, the establishments, increasingly adapted their policies, rules, and practices to align with those legal obligations. My documentary does not portray this as a spontaneous cultural shift. Instead, it explores the perspective that elected politicians created the legal framework from which later changes in sport, education, workplaces, public facilities, and government administration followed. For many biological women, the question is not simply whether the law changed, but whether the balance between competing rights also changed. My episode follows concerns that legal amendments influenced how institutions interpreted access, participation, privacy, and sex-based protections. Supporters of the amendments argue they strengthened protections against discrimination for transgender people. Critics argue that changes created tensions where sex-based rights and gender identity protections intersect. Rather than reducing the issue to slogans, my documentary asks viewers to consider the chain of responsibility. When Parliament redraws a legal boundary, every public institution eventually has to decide how that boundary will be applied. But that's hard to say at the start. When Parliament redraws a legal boundary, every public institution eventually has to decide how that boundary will be applied. And I ask whether the consequences seen today, in 2026, originated not with schools, sporting organisations or employers, but with legislative choices made years ago. Now let me ask you a question. When Parliament changes the legal definition of who is protected, how should competing rights be balanced where they come into conflict?